Hey, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today I am going to teach you how to make this nice full armature sheep. This is not a beginner project. I would say this is like advanced beginner or beyond. And there will be a kit. We're using these beautiful border Leicester, Teeswater, Blueface Leicester locks. I have enough of them. So join me. We're going to make these big sheep. Okay, so today we're going to make this sheep, which is a full armature. Hopefully I'll make it easy enough that everyone can make it. This guy isn't quite done because I only did 1 foot, and I'll show you how to do that later. I do, you're going to need 2 20-inch pieces of 16 gauge wire, 2 20-inch pieces. You'll need some pliers, probably need a ruler. You need a little bit of black, a little bit of pink, a little bit of blue, which I left over there. Mostly core wool, because sheep are not white. I use core wool for my sheep. And then you're going to need a various amount of locks. We're going to use these new Border Leicester Teeswater BFL cross locks. Oh my gosh, they're awesome. You should just feel them. They're squishy. They're good. They'll be in the shop pretty soon. A black alcohol pen. Some blush for the pink. So, first thing we're going to do is take our 20-inch pieces of wire. Are you letting the Stewie in? Yeah, he heard that you were here. He doesn't recognize your new car. Yeah. All right, so you're going to find center. Let's find center on both of them. Okay, so the first piece, this is a full-on armature, you guys. I don't normally do this. You know, I always do the work smarter, not harder, but when you're making a bigger sheep like this, sometimes you need them more firm. I was thinking about this, like, what do I want to make? I want to show you this sheep. So what I'm doing is I'm twisting. We found center. Now I'm twisting probably about, 3 inches? 3 inches. All right, and then we're going to spread this apart. Right, this is your head. The second piece, and this is a little tricky. You know, every armature is almost made the same way. So this is facing me, and I'm gonna do 3 twists, actually 4. So this piece, the longer piece ends up back. You want to wrap them kind of, stay back there. All right. So now we have the long pieces back here. Look, see, it looks like a person right now. Legs and arms. So now we're going to take this piece, these 2, and just let it gently come together. And we're going to twist about that much, which is, well, actually, we want to go about 4 inches. So we have a neck of our sheep, and we're going to bend it down, and we're going to bend it down. Yes, these are going to end up longer. And we're going to clip them off. Not yet, though. So I always hate working with a full armature. I really do. But it's necessary sometimes. So we're going to take a length of core wool. You sure you don't want my laptop?
I'll take it out.
It's right below you. Right down there. Cannon forgot his laptop. He thought I was going to have some short project, and then I'm like, nope, I got a big one today. So all I'm doing is wrapping this.
There's your pen.
Oh, 28. Now you can get into almost anything of mine. No, I'm just kidding. Just that. Just the computers. So I should have talked about how I did this before I did it. So I start by going up in through the triangle, and I push it in. And that kind of locks it a little bit. All right, and now I'm going to wrap it around. And I'm going to go back over that shoulder. Come back and go over that shoulder. And then I am just going to wrap this around where the body will be. You know, I don't even remember if I've ever showed you guys how to make one of these. Okay, so now we've got a start of a body. Just secure your fiber. If you're using a really good core wool, it should just stick to itself. All right, now the next thing we're going to do, I like to do the body first. Maybe I'm weird that way because then I know I don't make the head too big. So you can see I'm making a hot dog. I'm rolling this into a nice 1.5 inch size hot dog, and it's going to go right here. If you want, if it's more comfortable for you, you can secure it to the body with a couple stabs, but we're just going to wrap it. And I didn't get a big enough piece, but that's okay. And we're going to secure it. And we're going to wrap it. And I'm going to come over the shoulder just for fun and secure that. So now we have a funny looking dog. You know, the feet are going to end up something like that. And a lot of people do videos and they put in this curve in the back leg. I don't really do that because you lose it. But I'm going to show it to you in case it helps you visualize a sheep. Because you have the hock. Because we actually want the legs to end up there. And since we just did that, now we can cut these off. Hopefully I didn't make it too short. You can kind of test, stand them up. Okay, let's get rid of those. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is let's make a head. I wrapped it around once and I'm securing the end so I can let go. Don't make the mistake of making your sheep head, your sheep neck too long, because then it'll look silly. We're just going to go to the end and go back. And then I'm going to figure 8 it around the nose and back. And then we're going to secure it. Right now it's looking like a dinosaur. Doesn't this look like a dinosaur? Yeah. Some creepy dinosaur. I so like the other way of making animals because the legs don't get in your way. So now I'm going to take a piece, I know, totally out of character, and go just wrap it around this way. You know, there's a lot of special wrapping techniques that are going to create your muscles. I kind of like to sculpt them on. But right now we're just building this guy up. And you can take time and sculpt all these muscles in, you know. Once you get those locks on, they almost all disappear. We just need a basic shape of a sheep. It was Meetup Monday today. We had taco salad. It was delicious. Did you eat today?
Yeah, I had Mexican food as well.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Just checking. Just making sure you ate.
Thank you.
You know, it's the mom thing. I have to make sure Cannon eats because he sometimes comes here hungry.
No, I helped my grandma organize some stuff at her house, move some stuff around, and she took me out to lunch. So.
Nice. Where'd you go?
It was nice. Taco Riondo.
Where is that?
It's on McAndrews and Springbrook.
Oh. Is that the one you told me about?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I think I sent Carol in there, and she said it's really good.
Yeah, that's good. I recommend it for anyone. It is good food.
Yeah, it's just far away. from me. We only go out to eat when we're being very, very, very lazy. Like after we've worked outside all day and neither one of us has any energy left to cook. But things should be returning to fibering normal. Here, Black Sheep Gathering is in 22 days. Which means I really got to get my butt in gear with fiber stuff. Tomorrow is going to be very exciting, though. The big tree is getting trimmed.
Oh, nice.
I'm so excited. We have a giant, and it's giant, you guys, oak tree out in the front. And it's never been tended to, and it's going to get tended. So let's work on this head. As you can see, this head is way bigger than this head. So I want to show you. I'm going to peel these off. Oh, I can't. So triangle, when you look at a sheep head, triangle, triangle. I want you to see, visualize these triangles. Okay, they don't come to a point. They come to actually flat right here. And it helps, you know, that I've had my hands on sheep. So get your reference books. All the sheep have different kind of heads. Right now, I'm just building up this is the jaw area, okay? So the top of the head across, this actually is going to measure 2 inches. You can see I'm not there yet. And the nose is going to measure a 1/2 inch. So we're almost there, except that it's not long enough. Let's draft this out a little bit. And we're just going to, now I'm going to be intuitive here and start stabbing. So under the jaw, it's always flat. It's a flat part of your triangle. So this remains flat. And we're going to add a piece under there for his mouth in a while. Remember, this end ends up flat. And then we want this triangle right here. This is the hardest shape that you're doing on the whole sheep. And this needs to be really well felted or not soft, because if it isn't well felted, you will not be able to sculpt your face in. So what I'm doing right now is just solidifying what fiber I have on here, and then we'll go for the next layer. So we had our first wedding of the year. Went well. In fact, it was like the best wedding we've ever had. It was very small, but setup was quick. It was elegant looking. It's very nice. You never know what's going to happen when people get together with alcohol, music, and food. Food was really good. It was some barbecue place from Grants Pass.
They catered it?
Yeah, it was good. Tri-tip and brisket and baked potatoes and salad and macaroni and cheese. Nice. It was a nice setup. They didn't really cater it. They just dropped it off. I think she had people serving.
Nice.
So for those of you who are just tuning in and don't know, we have a wedding barn here at the ranch, and people can rent our barn for events, not just weddings. And the season just started, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful setting. I would pick it if I was getting married. Kid, it's like, if I ever get married, I can get married here, and I get it for free. friends and family discount. My sheep's currently laying down. All right, we're gonna build up a cheek. I want you to make a little pillow, and we're gonna add it right here. Trust the process. You know, I always tell you that these look like dinosaurs before they look like anything else. Got a piece of my farm stuck in there. Always take your time when you're building a head of any kind, because that's what people see. That's what they look at when they see your characters. That's what they look at first, is the expression and the face. So you want to get the head right. Once you get the head right, everything else falls into place. So you can see the triangle happening there, and we're making the triangle happen here. Are you reading my email?
I'm on Realtor.com just looking at houses.
Are you looking for another house?
I'm trying to get back to Grants Pass. It's nice over there.
I would be sad. But I know all your friends are over there.
I still come out here once a week for a video.
I know. Do you like your new work schedule?
Yeah, I do.
Better?
Yeah, well, it's all good. But yeah, it's nice. Sunday and Monday off, it's good.
So I'm quiet because I'm just felting, you guys. And I know you like when I'm just felting along. But I want you to see this head. So what I'm going to do right here, see how we have this coming out and we have this space we need to fill in. So I'm just going to take a little piece of core wool. Don't be afraid to add, and just add in small bits. But we don't want this to get too much wider. I was just filling in that hole that was right there. Remember, felting is learning to push the wool into the shape you want. So you're actually pushing it into a shape, especially when it starts to compact. And you can hear that it's starting to compact. So I'm going to use my pen tool now and just do a little bit more compacting, because we're just about there. So we know they have this jaw right here. We still have this triangle right here. And then we have this triangle. They're approximately the same size triangle. It's a kind of a cone shape, but it actually ends up two different planes. I think I'm going to start giving you guys some harder videos to do. Unless you chime in and give me an easy one. We might have to make them more than one part, Cannon. But you'll decide that. So we have this little neck right here. And so the thing about sheep is, here's the front legs, is they have a chest that sticks out in front of their bodies. That is if they're a good, well-proportioned sheep, you know, to the breed standard. You don't want any non-chesty sheep. So we're gonna add a little piece here. And we want it just to fall right into this spot, this pillow. Let's take another piece and we're gonna wrap it this way. So now we have achieved the chest. Once we get this stabbed in, felted in is what I should say. So I told you I showed you my new machine, right, Gannon?
Yeah.
I used it yesterday. I cleaned the barn and learned a few things. Well, it's going to take me a lot of practice. You would probably be really good at it because you play video games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd be really good at it right away. I don't play video games. I've never played video games. So it's not, the joystick thing is not intuitive to me at all. You know, because you go left to right, that does the bucket up and down, and the bucket itself, because there's two joysticks. So left and right on the left does the up and down, and left and right on the right does the bucket. And you have to do them at the same time.
Right.
I'm not really good at this stuff. You probably shoot people in video games like that. Anyways, so then there's the backwards and the forwards and the turning. So like if you're turning, you're only using one joystick. One way, I don't know. Anyways, it's going to take me a while. But what I learned is I can't use it for very long. My neck was so mad at me from all the vibrations. Holy cow. But I got the pen cleaned. I didn't realize that my neck was having a problem because I was not thinking about what it was doing to my neck. I was just worried about not running into the barn or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later when I'm like, oh my goodness, I am old. I am old and decrepit. It's pretty funny. Rip was assisting me. So now you can see we have a sheep with a neck. Let's poke this down. You don't want too much neck, or then it'll look like an alpaca. Okay, so now let's build some legs on here. You're like, but wait, where'd these legs go? Let's felt this in. Now the body doesn't need to be super hard like the head does. The head needs to be well felted. The body can be soft, because all we're going to do to the body is put on some locks. But I am firming this up a bit so we have a good foundation. Get out of my way. Didn't somebody request this sheep? I thought so, not very long ago.
People request sheep a lot, so.
And this is a cute one.
Definitely.
It's definitely a cute one with these big old locks. And there may be a kit coming. I'm thinking there might be a kit. Because I have enough of these locks to do a kit. So you can see we have the sheep body. See how narrow, how squishy it is in here? I mean, if you want to firm it up, you can. You don't need to. I'm just making sure everything that I've got in here already is attached. I think somebody requested a horse. I don't even know if I've ever made a horse. So maybe that will be something we look at now. So these back legs, you know, you're going to make a butt. Let's get this a little bit firmer so we know what we need to add. All right. I want you to take, it's probably a 6-inch piece, 4-inch piece. And we have our leg. And remember, there's a little haunch that sheep have. You do not need to make it, but we're going to do it anyways. This is where you want to use, this is a Serafina product. Look at, I forgot the name again. Tacky Wrap, got it, Tacky Wrap. Whoa, this is like not in my head today. Tacky Wrap, and what that does is makes your wire sticky. So when you're wrapping a wire, it will make it so that it sticks a lot easier and doesn't slip off. I'm securing the end. Now remember, when you're wrapping, we're gonna make these not super skinny. I mean, you could, but I don't like them super skinny. I'm gonna come down. So I come around and my left hand holds the fiber tight. My right hand is wrapping it flat. I let it go after every wrap so it doesn't twist. That will make sure that your wrap is smooth. Okay, so now we're at the end. Now I'm going to have you wrap it one more time, and we're going to bend it up. You're going to pinch it so that it's tight, and then we're going to keep wrapping the same way. If you go the opposite way, the underneath wrap will become loose. The reason we bent that up is, see how you can't see any wire down there? You just want a nice, tight, as tight as you can, wrap on these legs. Remember how I said it's nice, you need that face nice and firmly felted? You need these legs tightly wrapped. And then let's secure all these fibers. So you can leave them this thin, or you can put one more layer. We're gonna add another layer. It's gonna be a thinner layer because I don't want the legs super thick. Secure it and wrap it. Your back legs may look a little bit longer than your front legs, and that is okay. So now we're going to go back up. So you want even size all the way up and down. So one of the things you can do, you wrap it in the same direction every time. You can twist it tighter until you can secure it. Now I want you to do all 4 legs. Okay, I'll be right back and all 4 legs will be done. Again, tacky wrap. Smear it. I make a hole in my tacky wrap so that the wire can go through it easier. Move all the other legs out of the way. Let's secure it. You guys, I've wrapped so many times that I can go pretty fast, but I still always follow the same method because you want that to be smooth. We're going to get to the end and we're going to bend it up. Take your pliers, just a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch. Bend it up. And then back the way you were wrapping. So I have a little bit more wool this time than I did the last time. But you can see that this leg is still wider than that leg. So our goal right here is just to get these legs wrapped. Don't worry if the back one looks longer than the front one. I just need a super thin one more layer on this. So if you get a lumpy spot, just work it in until until the wool is all even. Okay, so you got your legs wrapped. You got your funky looking dinosaur here. So now we're gonna make the little haunches curve. And you gotta make sure that your legs are the same length. You can adjust this because we're gonna wrap these. Okay, it looks really crazy right now, right? We're gonna need a little bit of wool. Get out of there, stuff. So, we're gonna make a haunch right here. You're gonna come down. Let's go behind it and up. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not what I wanted to show you. Come down, go around. Let's come down around one more time. Now come up. You can even come back. Do you see how we just wrapped that little haunch of that sheep? So that gives us that shape. Now, you don't have to be super particular about this because what did I tell you a minute ago? I told you once we put the locks on, all of this musculature is going to disappear. So we got this little haunch, and on this side, on this part, we're gonna give them a little shoulder, and it's just a simple wrap. We're gonna do it once. We're gonna do it twice. And there's your little shoulders. We're giving them basic muscles. Kenneth's probably over there editing my website. I'm just kidding. It's up. So we have our little chest, we have our little shoulder. The only thing we're gonna do the other side first, and then we're gonna give him a little hiney. Again, you wanna make sure all your legs are the same length. You know, at this point, this could become almost anything. It could become a dog. It could become anything, a lion. You know, most of the animals have the same basic shape to them. It's just little nuances of how the head is shaped, what their ears look like. It couldn't be a goat because it's not skinny enough. Okay, let's take a little bit more of this. We're gonna flip him over. I'm gonna do this part first. I've always liked making the front legs a lot because it's easy. It's an easy shape to build because you're just wrapping, and again, it's making a triangle. See, I think this is a little bit too much chest, but that's okay. It will compact. Cannon, we need to do a live felt. I wonder what we should make.
People were asking about that doll. They want you to do a doll with like a.
Well, I asked for more details.
There was.
Oh, I got
a few responses.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look.
They want like a detailed face doll, you know, like.
All right. So remember
facial features.
So they want the face thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seem pretty popular.
Faces. A doll. Well, a doll could mean a lot of things, like a baby doll, a Barbie doll.
True.
So now when you look back here, that's not right. So we need to fill this in right here. We need to fill in his hip. Him, her, I don't know what this is. A ram, a ewe. So a female sheep is a ewe. A male sheep is a ram. A 1-year-old sheep is a hogget. At least in the UK, they're called hoggets. And they have the hogget fleece is the best fleece you will ever get off of a sheep in its life. Because it's before they've done any breeding, most likely. So I'm just stabbing in the belly wool right here. And we're going to build this up just a little bit more right here. Just like we did on the other side. I don't really have a prescribed exact formula for building animals. I just kind of do it. Just like when I'm tackling a big garden project. So this one's going to have a butt. So now we need to sculpt in the butt end. Or sheep carcass. This is a sheep carcass right now. It's coming alive. You can see what I'm doing. I'm stabbing. I'm compacting in the shape of the musculature. And I'm trying to go pretty fast, so I hope I'm not losing people. Okay, that's not tight enough. I have this little piece. This is not tight enough around here. So I'm going to wrap that tighter. A lot of times when things aren't tight enough for you, you can just wrap another piece of wool and suck it all in. That fixed that. Make sure your feet are still all level. Stab a little bit in here. And then you want your legs to be the same. So this side is bigger than that side, so we're going to have to even it out. I think that we can do it with felting. Hey, I can give a shout out to Teresa and Aiden, who came yesterday. They're from Washington. They were on their way back from Yosemite, and they made a pit stop here. That was pretty fun to meet them. She's just discovered our videos and our shop, and she was in heaven. She was in big time heaven. So if you're driving by through Southern Oregon, make sure you stop and see me. And text me. Text me and ask me if I'm available, because 90% of the time I am. That works. And I can help you with all your felting needs. So now we have a sheep body. So let's get this head together and then we'll dress them. So first we're going to make some ears. You know, this is just habit. I see loose wool and I have to tuck it. Have to tuck it in. Let's tuck this in. Especially around this neck. But we're not going to see that. So remember, you're not, if it's a little bit messy, this part, you're not going to see it. So we're going to make some ears. Okay, you guys, I'm going to use power wax, and I know this conversation comes up a lot. Power wax, I'm using the old formula power wax. I still have some. I love it. I'm holding out hope that the company brings it back for us. I don't know what's taking them so long. Don't buy the one in the silver tin can. You'll hate it. There is another product called Odie Coat. Something is beeping. Oh, you know what it could be? It could be my Instapot. No, I thought.
Sounds like an Instapot. I know.
No, but I thought I unplugged it. So we have two little ears here. I'm felting away, not talking about what I'm doing. So I made two ear shapes, folded them in. I don't want them see-through, but I don't want them too thick. Sheep ears are very, very thin. You can like see light through them. At least my sheep ears are, but they don't have any wool on their ears. They have thin skin ears. Sometimes they're so, it's not preferred, but sometimes I get these babies that have these pink ears. I actually put sunscreen on them so that they don't get sunburned. Don't need sunburned ears. Did you see the Meetup Monday video?
I did not.
You didn't? Oh, because Rip is practicing in there.
Was it today's video?
Yeah, he's practicing herding the lambs. It's pretty funny. He was doing okay. He's not very good. Let's be real.
He's almost a house dog.
No, but I think what's wrong, it's me that needs the training, not him. He's ready to work, and you can tell. It's just that I don't communicate my needs well enough, and I'm always worried he's going to hurt the lambs. Because they're just babies. I moved Trini and Ren back over there because the coyotes have been crazy. The Maremas. But they're in their pen because John still needs to fix the fence over there. And I looked out there yesterday and I was really worried about them because they'd never been around chickens, with the new chickens. So I look out there yesterday in the shade and they're on one side of the fence. Ren's on one side of the fence and the chicks are laid up against her on the other side of the fence. It was so cute.
Cute.
I was like, oh, look at, they like each other.
That is cool how the different animals become friends from being around each other.
Yeah, well, because, livestock guardian dogs are not always great with chickens. Sometimes chicken is what's for dinner with a livestock guardian dog. You got to teach them to like them. So we have these two ears, and before we put them on, I'm going to open what I have left of my power wax, and I'm going to power wax these. So it's kind of like thick Mod Podge, but Power Wax is cool because it dries really fast. I so hope they bring it back. So the cool thing about Power Wax is it gets rid of all the little hairs. And it will make these super thin. You got to really work it in. The Oatly Coat does the same thing. I did Oatly Coat on the other ears. I'll show that to you in a second when I get these two all power waxed up. Now I am going to have some hairs there. I'm going to cut those off. So you can see how thin this has gotten. And then that's going to be our ear. Totally different. Now Oatly Coat's good because it does not change the color whatsoever of the fiber, where Power Wax does when you're using it on color wool. So and the only thing I don't like I like how fast this dries. And it doesn't fully dry for 24 hours, but you can mold it because of the wax that's in it. And we're not going to worry about those because I'm going to trim those off with scissors. I always cover my Power Wax with a piece of wrap. All right, so now we're going to take this ear. It is still wet. Sheep ears go out to the side. My sheep have ears that go almost straight up. But we're going to line it up kind of with this part of the triangle. Let's put this, we're going to stab all this extra fringe on that I left. Let's just stab it in here, use it to secure that ear. We're going to add another piece of fiber over this in a minute. So come back and look. We want to push it forward a little bit. So there's one of our ears. So then we're going to put the other one on. Make sure they're kind of the same size. Kind of important. Even though people ears are different, sheep ears are kind of the same. Unless you're my rams. Zero has remodeled all of their ears with his teeth. Is it really hurting, Cannon? Do you need some ibuprofens?
I already took some before I left.
And it still hurts?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a fresh injury. It just happened this afternoon, so. Size feels good, though.
Good. Ice is magic. I have other magic things that will make it feel good. All right, so we have, he's getting cute. You can see the sheep now. Once you get the ears on, that like does everything. So we're gonna take a piece of fiber and tack it this way. The back of the head. This is the back of the head. Remember again that you're not going to see the back of the head. So it doesn't need to be perfect, just semi-perfect. So now I want to think about where I'm going to put my eyeballs. Hey, Kenan, in that bag is some light blue or somewhere down there. Like the same, it's almost the same color as this pet. No, not that bag, the other one. Yep, that'll work. So what I'm doing now is I'm making a different plane here. This is hard to explain. So this is going to be higher than this. And your eye, you got to visualize where the corner of the nose is. The eye is going to end up being right here. I'm just making an indent where the eye is going to be on both sides. Yeah, we can use that one. That's a pretty color. That's called water. So remember I said this needs to be well felted. So nice and smooth. This is your head. This is what people are going to look at first, the expression on your sheep. I'm just smoothing it out. So I have a cheek right here. We have an eye there. Thank you. So now we're going to take our single needle and we're going to draw the eyeball. And then make sure this one matches or is very close. So just so, let's see, let me give you some measurements. So 1 inch up from the corner of the nose is the eye. The eye is almost a 1/2 inch wide. You're just going to take a smidgen of blue or whatever color you want and fill in your eye socket. The most important spot is this bottom eyelid because we're going to put a top eyelid on. I just need a little bit more blue on this side. Yeah, this color is called water and I really like it. It's kind of an aqua blue. It's a water blue. It looks like ocean. Want to make sure they're kind of the same size. You don't want one eye bigger than the other. Now you need a smidge of black. Oh, I grabbed merino. Ooh. Okay. A little smidge of black. You can roll it into a ball. I tend to do it with my needle. Gather up those fibers because I don't like stray fibers, especially stray fibers in the black. Just a little bit more. It's definitely a long merino. Stick into my fingers. Now, I don't like the way this eyeball looks from the front. Once we get the eyelids on, it'll make sense. So when you're making these faces, I've sold enough of my art to know that the faces are what draw people in. And just know that some people are going to like different faces than other people. So you don't have to make them all the same. So now we're going to take 2 smidges of core wool and you're going to draw a line. Let's just felt a little, draw a line, and then you're going to fold it over. This is going to be our eyelid. I want you to felt right along here. We're going to flip it. You want this pretty well felted and not fuzzy. Have we ever done a sheep video, Cannon?
Oh yeah.
Like this?
I'd say that Velias black
The
sheep's
Velay?
pretty similar.
Kinda. All right, so then you're gonna put this on. Yeah, I definitely have, oh, I don't have any kits of the Velay right now. I gotta make some more. I am washing a fleece that looks promising for that. So how you put your eyelid on is gonna determine the expression of your sheep. If you go up here, it's gonna be mad. I don't like mine to be mad. I like them to just be happy. So work your eyelid around until you get what you like. I don't think I did a full armature on that one. Let's make another eyelid. So basically it's a little half moon that we're making, and you leave in some fringe to attach it. But we want this edge smooth. We have our little half moon. Let's put it on this eye. I like to felt up under the eyelid. Okay, you want them to end at the same spot. This is where you can look at your eyeballs too to see if they're in the right place. So we have all this loose stuff up here, right? We're going to cover that up. We're going to take just a little piece, and it is okay if this part of your sheep ends up taller than the other eyeball. At this point, this could be a cow too. It could be a cow the way it's looking right now. So you notice I haven't really touched the ears. I'm letting it solidify a little, and then we'll form them into ear shape. Don't look mad, guy. We want you to look happy. Seriously, sometimes I can spend as much time on the head as I spend on the rest of the sheep. So remember, this is flat. Hopefully you've come out far enough that you're not hitting a wire. Mine's right there. So we're gonna go down next to it. I might need to add a little bit in order to do this. To the end of my nose. So we're going to make a nose that looks like a heart. Sheep noses look like hearts. It's pretty cool. So basically what I'm doing is stabbing a V right there. And then I'm going straight down. We got little cheeks over here. I'm sculpting it in. So you have to stab it a whole bunch of times because we just added that wool on there. So let's decide where our nose is going to be. We have there, we have there, and we have there. Sometimes I'll add a little gray to the face just to give it some depth. And we know that the mouth is going to be here. But before we put that on, we're going to build his chin. So we're going to take this little piece and we are going to make this shape. My brain is not working today. So not square, but rounded. Rounded on the top. It looks like a tongue. It's really a chin. We're just building this little chin. It's a little ghost. It's a little ghost shape. Leave the fringe. So let's stab the heck out of this so it's nice and firm. Keep flipping it. Especially this end we want firm. All right, and then this piece is going to end up right here. Just his little mouth. That's all we want. Cannon's bored out of his mind.
I'm sleepy.
Oh, that's because you took ibuprofens.
It's peaceful listening to you, Phil.
To drone on. Yeah. Okay, so we want to blend that piece into there. So now, it looks so silly before they're done. Okay, we're going to take another piece of black. Right now he's Fu Manchu. Give him a mustache. All right, we're going to bring it down. We're going to fill in this space. I like my sheep smiling. You guys all know that. You don't have to make them smile though. I'm filling in this space. And I've got lots of hairy, so I gotta get rid of all these. Sometimes it's amazing how a shape will come together and just make it. Oh, he's happy. Don't make this, see that's too thick right there. We're gonna thin this out. So stab it in. This side's better. And then I just want to do this a little bit more. Remember, they're flat under here, nice and flat. The jaw comes up here. I was thinking it was time to do a sheep because I haven't seen very many people post sheep. All right, could you hand me a pair of scissors, please? Let's fix these ears. Those will work. Those will work. So we are going to trim up his ears. And then, you know, there's another reason I wanted to do this video, because I want to talk about how you put locks on to save your locks so you don't use a million of them. So now we're going to get a little blush. I can still see I need to do some more work to get this all blended in here, but I will do that later. So I like a little blush on their eyelids, definitely in their ears, because that's wet, power wax, it's doing the thing. And then cheekies. See how it just makes it, just giving a little pink on the nose. Let's do that. Now, next up is curls. Actually, let's do one other thing first. So remember, we didn't give him hoofs, right? Alcohol marker. This is an amazing thing. I want you, these are permanent. If you just color this in, seriously an amazing thing. It is a big, giant cheat. Because adding black for a hoof, you know, or you could use air dry clay and just stick it on here. But we're just going to color this in. And then I'll show you what we do. We'll use some power wax. Isn't this an amazing cheat? Because it's permanent. Who knew? So basically you're dyeing the wool is what you're doing on the sheep. They don't bleed if you have the right alcohol markers. There's zillions of brands of alcohol markers. They all work the same. You know, and I'm not doing technical hooves here. I'm just doing like a semblance of a hoof. Because sheep have 2 toes. I'm really lucky. I don't have to trim mine all the time like a lot of people do, because we bought a rock farm. So they wear their hooves off a lot. It's good. All right, so we have 4 of those. Put that away. All right. Power wax is great for getting rid of fuzzy legs. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, that black is gonna smear. It does not. Is this amazing or what? So we're just going to do this right now before we put on the locks. You don't need a lot to get rid of the fuzzies. And that's all I'm really using power wax for, that and to harden up the hooves. Remember which way you twisted. And twist your power wax on the same way you twisted your wool. You know, you can even do this right as you make the legs. Making sure my legs are the same length. I just want the fuzzies gone. You having allergies? What am I gonna do with you?
No, this AC is blowing on me.
Yeah?
I'm too cold, my nose starts running.
Oh, would you rather it was hot in here?
No.
And you know what? It's not even really that cold. We have it set at 78. Although it feels cold to me a lot.
Yeah, it feels pretty cold.
Where I use my blanket on my chair if I'm watching TV. My heated blanket. Which kind of negates the idea of air conditioning, right?
Does Stewie jump up on your lap when you using that thing?
Stewie sits on the arm of my armchair because I always have something in my lap that's fiber related. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. Yeah. Right? I put a little bit too much power wax on him. That's okay. You must have went through a ton of Kleenex at work. Because it was like freezing in there.
Yeah, I remember I used to have to keep a Kleenex box on my desk.
Yeah. Okay. Legs stick out a little bit in the back. Got some square hocks going on. He is not standing straight. He's doing the hokey pokey. Oh, it could be my pad. It is. Okay. So I love wool felting pads, but they're not good at keeping your project level. You need the table for that. Adjust the legs. So next up, so we're going to put locks on, and I'm going to teach you guys, when you apply locks to a sheep or something, you don't want to use a lot of them. Well, you want to preserve them because they're not cheap. So as you can see what I'm doing, see this fuzz? The fuzz is what I'm using to attach the lock. I try to send you separate locks when I send them to you. Sometimes they get stuck together, felted. But we can use that. So I'm using that fuzz from the edge of each lock to attach it. I'm not overlapping the locks. So I'm just building them in. Now we're going to need an extra one up here because I don't like the way that looks. So I want an extra curly one, and I'm going to put it here. So you have to use your own discretion as to how you build them up. But you really, and as you felt it in, you want to gather it up. Push those curls together. But you're not overlapping it. You'll get way more mileage out of a package of locks if you take the time to put them on this way, rather than just wadding them up and putting them on. So be very meticulous about it. That way, you get a curly looking sheep. So I'm pushing it up and tucking it in, and pushing it up, tucking it in, but I'm not overlapping it. You do want to make sure that if you felt and felt and felt, they'll eventually become one with your project and you won't see the lock structure anymore. So the locks, they're not attached super hard. Like you could pull them off. That's why if you're selling these things and you sell them to a customer, you want to make sure that the customer knows that if they have a cat or a dog, that said cat and said dog can shear. So this is a really good lock, so I'm going to use it up here. They can shear the sheep very quickly. Cats have a natural affinity for wool. And we are a very big example of that. Stuart likes to carry around my 1-ounce wool balls all over the place. See this fuzz? I'm going to gather it up and just tuck it in. So it doesn't matter if your locks are fuzzy looking, we can get rid of that fuzz and use it to our advantage for attaching the rest of the locks. It's probably really hard to see I'm using all the fringe fuzz and not really stabbing into the locks themselves. Your arm is going to get tired. Kenna decided to film this holding the camera. I'm fast, but I'm not that fast. I'm only half fast. Don't leave any holes. So you need to pick through your locks, pick the ones you like. I like these two, the ones that have this little bit of staining on them. I think it gives the project depth. Whereas if these are pretty white locks, but because it's a long wool, it's a border Leicester, Teeswater, Blueface Leicester cross sheep. They're on the sheep for a year, so the ends get a little bit of staining. You can see it's starting to look like a sheep. So I'm just gonna go through and attach all these locks, and it will probably take me a little bit. No telling how long. I'm gonna only come down to this part of the leg and leave the legs bare. I've made so many sheep that I can do this pretty quick. But take your time. I still think he needs more right there. Maybe not. You can put them on the belly if you want. Don't have to. I think it completes the sheep more if you do put them there. So we'll just get in here and add some locks. See, I found a loose piece of wool that I didn't felt in on that leg. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep doing this all the way around, and I will be back in like 10 minutes, and this guy will be ready to roll. All right, we're back. I finally have all the locks on this guy that we've been making. And I'm just randomly stabbing to get them in. So I think I'll make you guys some kits for these. And they'll be on the shop, liongate.org. Click on the wool shop. And then make sure that you like our video and follow us because it really helps us out. So see, this power wax isn't quite dry, and you can mold it into exactly what you want. I'll probably work on the face just a little bit more. I think this guy needs more neck. Cannon doesn't think so, but I like just a little bit more neck, not too much. So come back next time. We'll have some more complicated projects for you now. Here's me being fussy, trying to make that eye perfectly round. Are we ever satisfied? So Cannon wanted me to tell you, so if I was going to sell this, it would sell anywhere from $78 to $125. They're not cheap. These ears were done with the Odie coat, not the power wax. You can see how the color of the wool didn't change at all. At all. What else do we want to tell them, Cannon? Come back next time. We'll see you again soon. This has got more fuzz than that one.